Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jay Smack. I have a special guest today. It's my sister. Her name is
Brandywine.
Brandywine, and we're playing Little Nightmares today in honor of Halloween, even though Halloween's kind of over. I still haven't figured out the plot. You appear to be a young child wandering around in a dank, dark abyss, trying to find something. This opening is some type of scary older lady person. Oh, maybe your theory is right. My sister had a theory. What was it again?
That you are a grown woman who has a lot of childhood trauma and issues, and this is her, I guess, having nightmares about them.
I mean, the thing with these horror games is it's always something weird like that. It could just be about like a woman having a nightmare about her life or about her traumatic childhood or what have you.
That's what I see.
But the theory holds up more because of that opening cutscene, which went by me the first time. The controls are a little weird because I have to use the keyboard and mouse, which I'm not good at. And I still can't even remember how to... I have to grab with the mouse, and everything else is with the keyboard. So, like, the mouse is useless to me except for grabbing, and I should just remap the controls, but... no plot has been given, just wandering around this dark abyss. We were talking before in a debunked episode that we have to re-record basically about Halloween and about our Halloweens growing up, because this is my sister and we did technically grow up in the same places, which entirely in the same places pretty much. I celebrated a couple of Halloweens. I trick-or-treated maybe 3 or 4 times at best. I was a clown the very first time. And I remember holding that empty pillow sack and getting the candy in it and feeling the rush. But then I was like a ghost, like a lame ghost. And then I told the story about the last time I remember going trick-or-treating. We were in an apartment complex. And there's all the other, housing around, so there's lots of doors to knock on, and it seemed easy to score a lot of candy. And I went to this one guy's house, and I knocked on the door, and there was this, everybody puts up the fake cobwebs and stuff on Halloween. And so he points to the spider that's above his door, and he says, "Well, if you want candy, you'll have to touch that spider." And I thought, he's just being an adult and trying to have fun with me. And I didn't want to, but I was like, all right. And I very fearlessly just reached up and touched it. And then it crawled away because it was a real spider. And I was not expecting that. And I just absorbed the shock, and he just kind of went, "Oh, careful, it's real." And I was like, "What is wrong with you?" And he gave me some I want to think it was like some kind of taffy or something. I don't know. I threw it away immediately because I didn't trust him. And that was the end of my Halloween. And it was kind of sad. Every once in a while I would have the... what are those things that you break in half and they glow? The glow sticks?
Glow sticks.
Yeah. It'd be like glow sticks and stuff, but not much Halloweening after that. So, what are your Halloweening stories, if any?
Well, having the Asian princess hair that I once had, I was a witch for many Halloweens because of said hair.
Which you still have? Which hair?
No.
Your hair is green right now, isn't it?
Teal.
Teal?
It's teal.
What happened? Why is it green then?
It's teal.
So this is mildly disturbing imagery. My apologies if this is bothersome to you. I don't know what this game contains, to be honest with you. I knew this was here, but I'm sure those are just some puppets. This is an ogre's house, and he deals in puppetry.
It's a marionette.
It's just a marionette up there. The top half is like Big Bird.
He's got some long legs. It's a rocket.
It's moving along. We'll just walk through the abyss here.
I remember here, so high school, I don't think I was trick-or-treating, but I remember I was dressed up with all my friends, and they might have been taking some other younger siblings trick-or-treating, but anyway, I was with a group of people, and I don't remember if I was dressed up, but you could tell it was me. Anyway, so it's dark out, right, and it's cold, everything, we're walking around, And then we had to stop to cross the street, you know, because this car was coming. So all I see are these bright lights like flashing at me, and I can't see anything, and I just hear, "Hi, Brandy." And then they drive away, and I never found out who it was.
Ever?
Never.
You had no theories at all? Just some
Had
random-
possible theory, but I never found out who it was, and I don't know if they were trying to make their voice sound different, but it was just funny.
Some random spirit that knew your name.
Hi, Brandy.
I don't think I've ever had. I got catcalled once, and when I was living in San Diego briefly, and I was going to a school there, and I walked to and from there all the time down this like the main thoroughfare of the city, and there's restaurants and stuff like that. And then one day I was just, I'm like,
Wait, where is this?
I was in San Diego.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I
I was too busy watching The Little Nightmare.
was in San Diego. I was like right next to a 7-Eleven. Well, there's my first death. I was on the corner, and a red Corvette pulls up. Oh, don't die. Don't die. A red Corvette pulls up, and there's like, I don't know, 2 women. There's one behind the wheel, and then one just like in the driver's seat. And what do they say?
So what's the women's ages in like
It's hard to
comparison
gauge.
yours?
They just went by so
Comparable?
fast. Comparable. I don't know.
Not like 50 years older.
No, they were.
Okay.
I mean, they could have been anywhere between 20s and 30s. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't remember the actual cat call, which is surprising because I'm an unattractive male, and like cat calls are generally not reserved for males to begin with. I don't want to be like sexist and say that it's only for women to be catcalled, but like I'm not accustomed to it myself. Actually, no, that's not true. I've been catcalled before that. I forgot, but I don't know. Whatever this thing is, it's really aggressive. It's like a duck. It's like a duck made out of ink, and it walks with its neck. I'm just gonna avoid that, but
It's like a piece of intestine.
jump, little girl or boy, jump. There we go. Excuse me. Anyway, they went by and they said something like, I mean, I knew it was a cat call somehow, so I can't remember what it was, if it was actual words or if it was just the, what's the standard cat call?
The whistle?
Yeah, it was like
I
the
can't
it was basically
whistle.
like a whistle. It was like, woo-hoo, something like that. And like, it was more disbelief on my part because I was like, that could be for anybody, anywhere. Like, I'm just standing in the corner. It's probably not for me. But then there's Red Corvette, like, pulls around the corner and like, I think it's fairly obvious that the 2 women in there are like attentive to me. So I was just like, well, that was interesting. And they just drove off, and I was like, I guess this is California, because I hadn't lived in California that long. I was like, I guess I should just expect things like this here. But no, whoops, breaking and entering. But that was my one like explicit cat call. I mean, I've met women before who are like, I get cat called every day, everywhere I go, and I'm like, well, I feel bad for you because it's only happened to me. There was another time in a mall when I was a teenager, and I'm gonna crouch. I was just walking through the mall with our brother, and there was a group of like high schoolers or something. But there was this one girl, and she was probably, I don't know, she was a teenager or something. But as I walked, generally we walked by. Oh, I fell and didn't die. She saw me and from a distance called across the mall, "Hey, you're hot." And I was just like, well, okay, not gonna acknowledge that or do anything about that. And then I just walked on. And then my brother, I probably wasn't then, but later he told me a story about how he was walking through a mall, and these 2 girls walked by, and he overheard one of them as they walked by say, "That is the ugliest boy I've ever seen." And that was his like reverse anti-cat call.
No, I just remember like I was like 12 or 13, and I was riding my bike through the neighborhood, and there was these 2 little girls that like were coming in the other direction. They were probably like,
Oh, that's dead. I feel I'm gonna die a lot here.
no, these 2 little girls were probably like 5 or 6, riding their bikes, and then one of them, she rode up by me first, and she was like, "Oh, she's pretty," And then the other little girl's right behind her, and she's like, "No, she's ugly."
Yeah.
And as I look back on that, I think, oh, was that real or was that is that just the inner dialogue manifested? Yeah, but that was fun.
Oh, it's a good story. I was distracted by the ridiculous amount of intestines.
It's interesting when you're not as attractive as you want to be, which a lot of people can identify with, right?
Oh,
So-
who's as attractive as they want to be? Like, who says I'm as attractive as I want to be? I mean, some
people.
weird people that are really not that attractive, but they think they are.
Well, I'm talking like so your average person is what, like, you're like here, you're middle of the range, right? So when you don't do anything, it's bad. But when you try your hardest, it may be really good, right? So
Oh.
you'll have this wide variety of experiences between like disgusting other people and then catcalling. So the truly naturally beautiful people who can't look bad are the ones who get catcalled every day everywhere they go.
Yeah, I feel bad for them.
That's not many people.
And there's been times when, like, there was one person that I was like at a checkout line, and I was like, this is probably the most attractive person, and like not in a lewd way or anything like that.
Yeah.
I was just like, I can't help but notice, like, you were probably the most attractive person I've
They're
ever
very
like
symmetrical.
met, the epitome of what it means to be out of my league. And I was just like, I'm not gonna say anything, do anything, acknowledge anything, because you get this all the time, every single day. That's got to be rough. And I met a few people who would tell me about like having to deal with that every day. Luckily, I don't have to deal with that every day because I find it highly symbolic to talk about that while running from intestines in a basement and not being able to escape. And I have. Okay, that's my last death. I'm calling this episode there. And the next one, I'll try to get past the screen and actually not die here. I hope you enjoyed these embarrassing stories about our childhood and our attractiveness. So
Unattractiveness.
I'll see you next time, maybe.